Sometimes love fades so quietly you only notice it when the room feels different. And sometimes it stays bright in the smallest daily moments. That is what we're looking at today. Not grand gestures. The quiet habits that keep two people choosing each other. You can feel these habits when a couple still sounds like a team after years together. There is warmth there. There is steadiness there. There is a kind of ease that doesn't mean life is easy. It means the bond keeps getting repaired, protected, and renewed. By the end, you'll see why staying in love is less about luck and more about repeated emotional choices. But the real surprise is how ordinary those choices often look. The first habit is simple, but it changes everything. Couples who stay in love keep turning toward each other in tiny everyday moments. A look across the kitchen. A hand on the shoulder while passing by. A quick laugh over something nobody else would notice. Psychologically, these moments matter because love is strengthened by responsiveness, not just intensity. When your partner reaches out, even in a small way, and you respond warmly, the brain reads that as safety. Safety is what lets affection stay soft, instead of turning guarded. This is why a relationship can survive busy weeks more easily than emotional neglect. It is rarely one dramatic failure that cools love. It is more often 1,000 missed little turns. A text ignored too long, a story half heard, a bid for closeness answered with distraction. Couples who last are not perfect at this. They are simply aware that connection is built in moments so small they barely look important. And this is the beautiful part. You do not need to become a different person to practice this habit. You just need to notice when love is quietly knocking. The second habit shows up most clearly after friction. Couples who stay in love learn how to repair before distance hardens. They still misunderstand each other. They still get irritated. They still have tired, imperfect evenings. But they do not let one rough moment become a story about the whole relationship. That is the key. Healthy couples know the difference between a problem and a pattern. In psychology, repair matters because conflict itself is not the main threat. Hopelessness is. When nobody reaches back after tension, the nervous system starts preparing for disconnection. So lasting couples do small repairs on purpose. They circle back after a sharp tone. They say, "That came out wrong." They say, "I know we're both tired, but I don't want us to drift over this." They choose reconnection before pride. That does not make them weak. It makes them emotionally secure enough to protect the bond instead of protecting the ego. And if you have ever replayed a tiny argument for hours, you already know how powerful a gentle repair can feel. The third habit is curiosity. Couples who stay in love keep learning each other, even after they think they know the map. This matters because familiarity can create comfort, but it can also create assumptions. And assumptions are dangerous in love because they make us stop seeing the person in front of us. We begin responding to who they were last year, or who we decided they are instead of who they are today. Curiosity interrupts that. It sounds like asking, "What has been on your mind lately that you haven't said out loud yet?" It looks like noticing new stress, new dreams, new sensitivities, and treating them like they matter. People stay emotionally alive in relationships where they feel freshly seen, not scanned. Seen. There is something deeply bonding about being discovered by the same person more than once. That is why long-term love does not depend on mystery as much as it depends on attention. The twist most people miss is this. The feeling of being known is not created by history alone. It is created by ongoing interest. When couples lose that interest, they do not always fall out of love first. Sometimes they just fall into autopilot. And autopilot can feel lonelier than being alone. The fourth habit is lighter than people expect, but it carries real emotional weight. Couples who stay in love protect friendship and play. Not because life is always easy. Because life is often not easy at all. A shared joke after a long day can regulate more tension than another serious discussion ever could. Play tells the body, "We are safe enough to be unguarded here." Friendship tells the heart, "I am liked here, not just needed." That difference matters more than many couples realize. Being loved is powerful. Being genuinely enjoyed is what keeps love from becoming dutiful. This can be incredibly simple. Teasing each other kindly while folding laundry. Sending a photo only the two of you would understand. Dancing badly for 10 seconds in the hallway. If this sounds like your relationship, I'd love to hear which small ritual keeps you close. These moments look almost silly from the outside. Inside a relationship, they are glue. They create positive emotional memory, and memory shapes what love feels like over time. So here's something to remember. A relationship does not stay alive only through heavy conversations. It also stays alive through delight. The fifth habit becomes obvious in the way couples speak when they are disappointed. Couples who stay in love protect respect, especially when emotions are running high. They do not weaponize private knowledge. They do not go for humiliation because they know contempt leaves a long stain. This matters psychologically because repeated disrespect changes the emotional climate of a relationship. Once someone starts feeling emotionally unsafe, even affection can begin to feel suspicious. The body stops relaxing. The mind starts bracing. And then, even neutral moments get interpreted through tension. Lasting couples interrupt that spiral early. They talk about behavior without attacking identity. They say, "That hurt me," instead of, "This is who you always are." They make room for frustration without turning each other into enemies. That is a mature kind of love. Not the absence of anger. The refusal to make cruelty part of the language. Warm relationships are not built by never being upset. They are built by remembering, even in conflict, that the person across from you is not the battlefield. And when that respect stays intact, trust recovers faster. Sixth habit is one many people misunderstand at first. Couples who stay in love make room for individuality. They stay connected without demanding constant sameness. This is healthier than it sounds because closeness and freedom are not opposites in secure love. In fact, when a relationship allows breathing room, affection often returns with more sincerity. You can miss someone and still be deeply committed to them. You can have separate interests and still feel like a unit. You can support a partner's growth without feeling abandoned by it. That balance matters because love weakens when one person feels absorbed instead of appreciated. If everything must always be shared, approved, or mirrored, the relationship can start feeling more controlling than close. Secure couples understand this instinctively. They ask about each other's world instead of competing with it. They respect private thoughts, solo time, friendships, and personal goals. And when they reunite, there is more energy in the connection because two full selves are meeting there. This is not emotional distance. It is trust with oxygen in it. If you have ever feared that too much independence means less love, here is the reframe. Real closeness is not proved by constant fusion. It is proved by staying emotionally available without needing to shrink each other. The seventh habit may be the most powerful because it ties all the others together. Couples who stay in love make love visible through consistency. Not once in a while. Not only after a scare. Consistently. They do the small things often enough that care becomes believable. That consistency matters because the heart trusts patterns more than promises. Anyone can be intensely loving in a beautiful moment. The deeper question is who they become repeatedly. Do they show up? Do they follow through? Do they notice when you are carrying too much and try to lighten it? Do they keep choosing tenderness after the honeymoon feeling becomes ordinary life? Long-term love survives because it becomes embodied. It lives in tone, timing, attention, repair, reliability, and effort. That is why stable love can feel calm instead of dizzying. Calm is not a lack of passion. Very often, it is passion that no longer needs chaos to feel real. Sometimes the healthiest love does not feel like fireworks every morning. It feels like exhaling when their name appears on your phone. It feels like not having to perform your pain to be taken seriously. It feels like being able to be quiet together without wondering what changed. It feels like trust surviving ordinary Tuesdays. That kind of love can look less dramatic from the outside. Inside it, though, there is deep relief. Your heart spends less time decoding mixed signals and more time actually loving. This is why some people mistake stable love for boredom at first. They were trained to associate uncertainty with intensity. But uncertainty keeps the body alert, not necessarily connected. Real closeness usually sounds softer than chaos and lasts much longer. And once you feel that softness, you start valuing peace as part of romance, not the enemy of it. And that is the quiet truth beneath all 7 habits. Couples who stay in love are not preserving a spark by magic. They are creating conditions where warmth has somewhere safe to live. They turn toward each other. They repair after strain. They stay curious. They protect friendship. They speak with respect. They allow breathing room. And they make care consistent enough to be trusted. If some of these habits feel missing right now, that does not mean love is doomed. It may simply mean the relationship needs more intentional moments than automatic ones. Awareness matters because once you can name a healthy habit, you can start practicing it more deliberately. Not all at once. Just one warmer response, one cleaner repair, one more curious question, one more respectful pause before saying something sharp. Love often deepens that way. Not in one cinematic transformation, but in repeated choices that tell both people we are safe here. And if you want more conversations like this, subscribe and stay close. Because understanding love does not make it less mysterious. It just makes you gentler with what it asks of you. So when you think about couples who still seem in love after years, do not only look for chemistry. Look for habits. That is usually where the feeling learn how to stay.